You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not a big fan of yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
And the crowd goes wild. Vintage Trump is back, baby. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, and corruption and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters like President Trump, because truth conquers. But you can't conquer anything unless you are strong. Here to help us get stronger is Ancestral Supplements, grass-fed beef liver. As always, beef liver is nature's multivitamin for a reason. It makes your metabolism fast, energy high, cravings low, and your body strong. And I think it's time to get stronger. Get your grass-fed beef liver at ancestralsupplements.com/JPReacts. And for 15% off, use code JPReacts. Wow, let's get into it. Trump has a fierce masculine energy when he's dealing with reporters that are disguised as journalists, pretending they're journalists. President Trump doesn't pretend that they're actual journalists. He calls them out. He doesn't play along with the little theater of like, hey, I'm a propagandist, but I'm playing the role of a reporter right now. No, President Trump is aligned with truth. He doesn't play that pretending game, and I think that's one of the reasons we see that alignment of truth. And that's one of the reasons why we, the people, just had this swell of support for President Trump. Thus, he wins the election in a landslide. And my one complaint about the election, the results, exactly what I wanted, what I voted for, prayed for, hoped for. But I was disappointed with the process because I think President Trump had gotten way too civil the past couple years. Remember vintage Trump, 2016, just, he'd say the gnarliest stuff. We'd see that fierceness all the time. Then he got too civil, in my opinion. It was strategically wise. I think it helped him seem more relatable to more people, thus he won the election. It was amazing. Now President Trump, hopefully he puts that civility in the closet and lets his fierceness come out. When you see, we're going to see some more clips of him recently putting Jim Acosta from CNN right in his spot with fierce masculine energy. I love watching this, and I think a lot of people do. And from a man's perspective, I almost just threw up. It felt like from a man's perspective, why this is so amazing. It's not just because it's entertaining, even though it is, but he's portraying something that all men need. We all need this fierceness that can come out, this lion-like fierceness that will protect our boundaries, protect the innocent, and help stand for our principles, our values, and what's most important to us. That comes out of President Trump. Now, the propagandists don't like it because he doesn't play along. And the fierceness is directed at their lies, hypocrisy, and corruption because President Trump is a freedom fighter. Now, we saw the opening clip. Now let's take a look at the what happened before that with Jim Acosta trying to manipulate President Trump, who did not stand for it.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about it? Challenge you on one of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign. In the midterms. That
here we go.
Well, if you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
You know, a caravan of millions of people illegally crossing our border? You called that an invasion. It was. Yeah, it was.
President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up.
Yeah, a group of migrants moving up illegally. They just want to come do charitable work in the U.S.
From Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you?
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in this election
to try to keep them? I want them to come into the country.
See, if Jim Acosta stood for truth, and let's just say his propagandist CNN perspective was his genuine perspective, an honest, appropriate thing for him to say to President Trump is, I think you demonized it. But this manipulative, do you think you demonized it? It's like, bro, you're doing that with the wrong guy. Let's see how this turns out.
But they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process. And I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait.
And there's the fierceness again. The guy's trying to talk over the president of the United States, and President Trump, he stands firm in his masculinity. Thus, wait. You don't interrupt this guy. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, I think it's time to meet the healthiest version of yourself in 2025. Dream transforms your nights into your most productive wellness tool. To be healthy, fit, full of energy, and mentally strong, whether you like it or not, you have to get good sleep. Otherwise, you're just walking around in a state of suffering with low energy all day. Dream is a revolutionary approach to sleep with natural sleep-supportive ingredients in the form of a delicious, decadent hot chocolate. Here's a big problem I have. I work like an animal all day. I work out. I'm with my son doing parenting. And then at nighttime, I find I'm still wound up. And I was finding I was having trouble unwinding, which negatively impacted my sleep, which meant the next day, I have less energy and feel like garbage. But Dream truly helped me with that. I take it at nighttime before bed, and I find I fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up more refreshed than ever before. There is a reason why 93% of participants in a clinical trial reported that Dream helped them get a more restful night of sleep and wake up more refreshed. That's my experience too. By the way, side note, a little confession. I like myself a nighttime treat. And Dream actually checks that box for me too. It's only got 15 calories, it's gluten-free, dairy-free, guilt-free. If you want to meet the healthiest version of yourself in 2025, you're not going to do it without amazing sleep, and Dream will help you do it. Stop pretending that you're going to get good sleep and feel great by accident, and head to shopbeam.com/JP Sears. There you can shop Beam's New Year's sale for up to 40% off. And if you really want to support yourself through 2025, you can sign up for a subscription. I love Dream, and I think you'll love the results too. Go to shopbeam.com/JP Sears and use code JPReacts. Enjoy. Now back to the video.
We need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true.
What President Trump says next is pretty damn good.
They weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
Your campaign had an ad showing illegals climbing over the wall. Yeah, that's a picture of reality. President Trump, they're not actors.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an
you
invasion.
Should, honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President,
that's enough. Now we'll pick up on another clip. What happens next? President Trump continues putting Jim Acosta from CNN in his place, and another reporter stands up with a question. But first, he tries to defend Jim Acosta. What happens to this useful idiot is well deserved.
On the Russia investigation, are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
You might say, oh, he's insulting him. No, I think he's pointing out a reality. If you have enough courage, boldness, fierceness, you'll point out realities. This guy was not displaying any level of respectful behavior. I don't think he's doing journalism aligned with truth. So was that an insult? I don't think so. I think President Trump is saying out loud what he sees in this guy, and I personally think it's healthy.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not a big fan of yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. You repeatedly said...
You are the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of the...
Okay, just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, no. when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
I love that. When you report fake news like CNN does, you are the enemy of the people. Yeah, we the people declared that. 2024, we're aligned with truth. Anything other than truth is the enemy of the people. The lies, manipulation, gaslighting, that has become the enemy of the people. Now that's just recent, and I sure as heck hope that 2025 to 2028, we're in for the blessing of a lot more of this fierce masculine energy, which, by the way, before we look at the next clip, some throwbacks of vintage Trump, you have to ask yourself, if you're an enemy of the US, a leader like Xi Jinping or North Korea guy or Putin or Zelensky, like a puppet of the deep state in the US, you have to ask yourself, when you see this, what happens in the minds of those enemies of the US? Do you think they're a little bit more intimidated and a little realizing we can't get away with as much compared to Biden being lobbed a softball question that he strikes out on, or the ghost of Christmas future if Kamala won the election? It's like, oh, well, here's some word salad that ends with unburdened by what could have been. Now, I think this is the starting quarterback the U.S. wants on the field.
You people, don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way.
Putin sees that versus, and like, this is natural Trump. He's not putting it on a show. You can tell this is a very natural part of his personality that's been developed. He can be a lion. This is something we want our enemies seeing. Even that the domestic terrorist enemies, the treasonous that are currently in the U.S. government, we want them seeing this too.
Well, I'll give you voters. I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her. She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
He is so quick on his feet too. Let's rewind that.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. How many cases were in the United States when I did my ban? How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
He is just so unwilling to pretend that these useful idiot propagandists are journalists. You know, they show up wearing a journalistic costume, and President Trump, he does not pretend they're journalists. And I think we, the people, love it because we don't pretend they're journalists either. We know they're propagandists. We know they're always out trying to character assassinate President Trump and character assassinate you and I for having good, strong American values. I could watch President Trump when he's fiercely on fire all day. So let's bring it home with just one more clip.
It's a wonderful question, but how can am I going to do preemptive strikes? Why would I say that? Can you imagine if I said yes or no?
In other words, can you warn our enemies if you're going to do preemptive strikes by answering my question?
That was strange that he answered that way. Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? How could I answer a question like that?
I love it. President Trump, I am here for him not only all day, but I'm here for him the next 4 years. With that said, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, let me know what you think of President Trump when he's getting fierce, specifically with reporters in the comments below. How's it register for you? I look forward to reading those. And I look forward to seeing you on our next video, but until then, stay fierce.